is Võ Thị Kim Ngân, and I learned international economics in Banking University of Ho Chi Minh City. Welcome to the presentation of Group 3. As we all know, scientific research plays an important role in our modern life, and ensuring ethics in scientific research is very necessary. So, topic of our group presentation today is ethics in scientific research. First, we learn about the concept of scientific research. Scientific research is the activity of seeking, examining, investigating, or experimenting based on data, document, knowledge gained from scientific research, experience to discover new things about the natural and social world, and to create new methods and technical means are higher and more valuable. Developing a scientific perception of the world, or invent new methods and new technical means to improve the world. Next, we come to the conception of ethics in scientific research. Ethics in scientific research is a part of social ethics, which are rules and standards aimed at regulating voluntary behavior of scientists in scientific research activities. Ethical issues in research are presented on steps of scientific research process. Now, let's explore the role of ethics in scientific research. The role of ethics in scientific research is mainly shown through the impact and influence of scientists' ethical personality on the orientation, purpose, and results of research and the application of the results into society and human life. That reflect in the following aspects. First, ethics regulates the behavior of researchers in the direction of serving social and human development. Second, ethics contribute to improving the capacity of scientists.
Can you turn on your camera, please?
Dạ em có mở rồi ạ.
Good.
Yes. Third, ethics contributes to overcoming the negatives in scientific research and application. Besides that, ethics in scientific research is also influenced by factors such as cultural environment, social ethics, the development of science and technology, researcher personality. Now we answer the question, why is it important to adhere ethics in scientific research? David Resnick pointed out 5 reasons why it is important to adhere ethics in scientific research. First, ethical standards promote the achievement of research goals such as knowledge, truth, and to avoid errors. Second, ethical standards promote the formation of values necessary for successful collaboration among team members. Third, ethical standards help ensure that researchers can be held accountable to public. Fourth, implementing ethical standards also helps solicit community support for research. Fifth, many scientific ethical standards promote the formation and development of a series of other important social ethical values. Next, we come to ethical issues to be considered in the research. Research ethical issues mainly focusing on some content such as for study participants, information collection. Before you begin to collect information, you must consider the relevance and usefulness of the research you are doing and also convince others of this. Seeking consent. Participants must agree to give consent. Sufficient information must be provided to allow a reason for treatment, and consent must be voluntary and not coerced. Providing incentive. Most people participate in a study because of the importance of the study. Therefore, giving a small gift after getting your information is a sign of appreciation. 6. Sensitive information. Scientific researchers need to clearly explain to informants what the information is intended to be used for and give them enough time to think and decide whether to provide information or not. Maintaining confidentiality. Ensure that at least the information provided by respondent is kept anonymous. The possibility of causing harm to participants. Potential harm to participants must carefully examine whether their participation is likely to harm them in any way. If so, you must ensure that the risk is minimal. For the researcher, when conducting a research, the researcher must follow some content such as avoiding bias. Bias on the part of the researcher is unethical. It is absolutely unethical to introduce bias into a research activity. If you are unable to control your bias, you should not be engaging in the research. Provision or deprivation of a treatment. Both the provision and deprivation of a treatment may pose an ethical dilemma for you as a researcher. Ensuring informed consent, minimum risk, and frank discussion as to the implication of a participant in the study may have to resolve some of these ethical issues. Using inappropriate research methodology. A researcher has an obligation to use appropriate methodology within his or her knowledge base in conducting a study. It is unethical to use deliberately a method or procedure used to be inappropriate to prove or disprove something that you want. Incorrect reporting. Reporting the findings in a way that changes them to serve your own or someone else's interest is unethical. Correct and unbiased reporting of the findings are important characteristics of ethical research practice. Inappropriate use of information. Is it ethical to ask questions provided you tell the respondent of the potential use of the information, including the possibility of it being used against some of them, and you let them decide if they want to participate? Besides that, researchers must follow some principles when conducting a research. Principle of honesty, principle of objectivity, principle of prudence, principle of openness, principle of intellectual properties, principle of confidentiality, principle of publication responsibility, principle of respect for colleges, principle of social responsibility, principles of non-discrimination, principles of responsibility for professional development, legal principles, principles of protection people. For sponsoring organization, restriction imposed by the sponsoring organization. Most research in the social sciences is conducted using funds provided by the sponsoring organization for a specific purpose. They may choose methodology, prohibit publication of what they find, or impose other restrictions on research that may impact the collection and dissemination of accurate information. Limit abuse of research results. Briefly describe how research ethics by a number of competent ethics committees approve and consent to research subject participation, confidentiality, and safety issues data. Give an explanation if necessary. Now, let's continue with the presentation of Quận.
Thanks for the presentation of Ngân. Now I will present the problem about ethical violation in scientific program. that every country has. Vietnam is one of the countries who ethical violation in the field of scientific research and learning. Some is problems such as participating in appraisal and evaluation work that is not related to your expertise. The most typical behavior is plagiarism and data manipulation, infringing or damaging another copyright, intentionally cutting someone else's work, copying another work, falsifying the content of another work, use unwarranted tricks to disturb or interfere with other people's research activity, intentionally false reporting, falsifying data or result, joint order in concealing academic witness. To minimize ethical violation in scientific research, we offer some solutions. Firstly, research organizations and institutions should develop codes of ethical conduct in scientific research at their agency and units. Secondly, organizations need to publicize and name only scientists who violate research ethics on the mass media. Thirdly, organizations should create an environment that fosters a research culture, raise awareness, and attitude toward implementing policy related to research ethics. Fourthly, is scientific research organization can research activity. Fifthly, research ethics needs to be incorporated into formal teaching and specific guidance for students at university, training and scientific research institutions, and tighten the management of idea plagiarism. Finally, students themselves must actively participate in exchange class and share experience in scientific research to build up more knowledge for themselves to steal ideas. From there to many cases that can happen on the issue of ethical violation in scientific research, we have been able to draw many profile lessons from experience. Firstly, raise awareness of research ethics among all stakeholders involved in the scientific research process, from scientists themselves to users of scientific research. Secondly, perfecting the policy system related to research ethics. Thirdly, strengthening facility to ensure ethical practice in scientific research. Fourthly, ethics culture or community should be established at all levels. Fifthly, strengthening international cooperation in scientific integration, synchronizing standard of research ethics, raising scientific awareness of research ethics. Sixthly, promote the propagation and education of research ethics among all subjects and subjects participate in scientific research in order to make research ethics more popular and familiar. Finally, developing a system of ethical standards in scientific research. In conclusion, from our above analysis, we can see the importance of ethics in scientific research. Therefore, in order to truly bring research ethics into consonance of each researcher and those operating in the field of scientific research, and effectively prevent us of violating research ethics, it is still necessary to conduct specific research on the actual situation of research ethics in the world generally and each country, including Vietnam in particular. Research ethics is a topic that has received a lot of attention in recent years. As scientific research activities are gradually become more popular and important in many countries, the benefits of scientific research are unquestionable, but those benefits can only maximize when only there a healthy research environment, where ethics in research must be respected. Therefore, ethics in research has a particular important role in scientific research and must be protected and preserved in the best way. That's all my group want to say about ethics in scientific research. I'd like to thank you for taking time out to listen my presentation. Due to lack of knowledge, our presentation maybe has many mistakes. We hope teacher and you can accept it. And now, if there is any question, my group would be pleased to answer them. Come with us and give any question you have. Thank you.